Hi friends, it's Annie Grace, and I am the author of This Naked Mind, and I'm here answering readers' questions. Today I have a question from Fred, and Fred asks, Annie, how do I know if I'm an alcoholic? And Fred, I get this question a lot, and I want to talk a little bit about the question before I answer it. Culturally, I feel like we've stopped asking the same questions, like, would I be happier drinking a bit less or drinking nothing at all? Instead, the question that looms is, am I an alcoholic? It's not cool to question our drinking like we would question our sugar intake or cigarette smoking. And because of that, we live in fear. And when we feel we might be drinking a bit too much, the fear grows because the question, again, that looms is, am I an alcoholic? And so we start to feel really uncomfortable with this question. And as drinkers, we often drink to dull these uncomfortable feelings. So this very question not only causes us to drink more, but can necessitate this rock bottom type experience, a true wake-up call stemming from something awful happening with our drinking before the fear of the question becomes less than the fear of continuing to drink like we do. The question is terrifying. Why is it terrifying? Because we've been told that alcoholism is a lifelong, incurable disease that plagues a select few people, and we sure don't want to be one of those people. We've divided our culture into two people who can drink normally and alcoholics. And this gives us this false sense of security. Actually, in my opinion, I believe it obscures the naturally addictive nature of alcohol. When rats were given alcohol in this study, 100% of rats that were force-fed alcohol became addicted to alcohol. Alcohol is biologically addicting to human beings. And we don't treat it with the caution it deserves because we believe if we're not an alcoholic, then bring it on, pour the wine. According to some more research, only 10% of excessive drinkers are clinically dependent. And alcohol is still causing massive problems for the 90%. And most interestingly, alcohol use and drinking has skyrocketed in our culture, especially among women. I mean, it's nuts. 78% of Western society drinks alcohol. It's literally insane. Alcohol is addictive, not just alcoholics, but to human beings. And so the way our society poses this question and the way when we start to question our own drinking, we jump to this question means that we almost protect alcohol and we disguise its addictive nature. But enough about the question. I just get a bit riled up about this because it seems like such a mistake. We can question our sugar, we can question all sorts of other things about our health, but we can't question our drinking, which I think is a mistake, especially considering how much harm drinking does. But let me answer the question. The first, most simple answer to how do I know if I'm an alcoholic? The answer is no, you're not an alcoholic. Guess why? Alcoholics don't exist. Okay, I know some people are going to get really mad, and that was a super controversial thing to say, and yada, yada, yada. But hear me out. Let me tell you what I mean. In the psychiatric, in the scientific realms, alcoholism is no longer recognized. Alcoholics aren't recognized as a thing. That's because we've started to move on from that to something that encompasses the whole spectrum of drinking. So the DSM-5, which is also called, let me read this, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Disorders. It's the American Psychiatric Association's classification and diagnostic tool. Basically what this is it's the universal authority for diagnosis. And it's the Bible, if you will, that medical professionals use to diagnose disorders. The DSM does not recognize the term alcoholic. And instead it uses the much more accurate term alcohol use disorder. And this alcohol use disorder, unlike alcoholic, whether you're in or out is black and white, is actually a continuum of use and abuse that defines one's relationship with alcohol and how harmful that relationship is becoming. So the real question you should be asking, no, you're not an alcoholic, but where do you fit along the continuum of alcohol use disorder? So I have it here, and I will post a link to it below, but basically where you fit along the continuum is if you have the presence of at least two of these questions that I'm going to ask you, that means you have alcohol use disorder. So at least two of these things, if you say yes, you have alcohol use disorder. The severity of it is classified mild, moderate, or severe. So 2 to 3 is mild, moderate is 4 to 5, and severe is 6 or more. And I think this is going to be shocking because I think that most people who drink can at least answer 2 or 3 of these with a yes. So again, 2 is yes, you have alcohol use disorder. So question number 1, have you had times where you ended up drinking more or longer than you intended? Who hasn't? Question number 2, more than once have you wanted to cut down or stop and tried but couldn't? Question number 3, do you spend a lot of time drinking or being sick and getting over the after effects of drinking? Number 4, have you ever wanted a drink so badly that you couldn't think of anything else? Number 5, have you ever found that drinking or being sick from drinking interfered with taking care of your home or your family or caused job troubles or school problems? Number 6, have you continued to drink even though it was causing trouble with your family and friends? 7, have you given up or cut back on activities that once were important or interesting to you or gave you pleasure in order to drink? 8, have you more than once gotten into situations where while or after drinking that increased your chances of getting hurt, such as driving, swimming, using machinery, walking in a dangerous area or at night, or having unsafe sex? Number 9, have you continued to drink even though it was making you feel depressed or anxious or adding to another health problem? Have you continued to drink after having a memory blackout? Number 10, have you had to drink more than you once did in order to get the effect you want? This is tolerance, and again, this is the number 2 that I would say most people are going to answer this yes. So have you had to drink more than you once did in order to get the effect that you want, or found that your usual number of drinks had much less effect than before? Number 11, have you found that when the effects of alcohol were wearing off, you had withdrawal symptoms such as trouble sleeping, shakiness, restlessness, nausea? A lot of people have had nausea, sweating, a racing heart, or a seizure, or sensed things that were not there. So obviously some of those are on the higher end of this spectrum, but a lot of those could categorize a lot of drinkers. So let's stop asking the question, am I an alcoholic? Let's just start naturally questioning our drinking and thinking about what we put into our bodies and be safe and happy about it. The last thing I'll say in close is that instead of this dire diagnosis of alcoholism, we just need the simple question, and perhaps just taking a break or doing some more research can help you find the freedom in your relationship with alcohol that you are looking for. So thank you, Fred, so much for the question. Excellent question. Again, this is Annie Grace, author of This Naked Mind.